Hey everyone. Okay. Hope y'all doing well. This is not bedhead. This is bingehead because I just got done watching The Boys episodes 1, 2, 3 of season 4. Um, I gotta say, kind of boring. Kind of boring season. I think everybody agrees at this point that this show's kind of dragging a little bit. I think if it was a 3 season show, it would have been great. Like there is that one. I think for me, what I remember when I think of the boys is that one scene, one shot in the first episode of in the first season of the show where they're at like the A Train race track and Homelander's up at this track and the boys are undercover and Butcher's in one of the seats below Homelander, and amongst the crowd you just see these two people staring at each other, and like that is what the show was sold on, like that tension and then that confrontation. But I feel like now they're just dragging on because we've never gotten like a full confrontation between them that resolved in satisfying way. You know, we had the orgy episode in like season 3, I think. We had that confrontation, and then obviously at the end of last season we had one. But I just think like season 1 should have been the boys, you know, coming together, figuring out a way to like make a dent. Season 2, maybe Stan Edgar should have died, and then Homelander is let loose on season 3, and then, you know, either Homelander wins or Billy wins, and that's the end of the show. But, you know, now we're at season 4, and, you know, things have gone different routes. But I'm rambling a bit, but it's let's focus on season 4. I think it started off like halfway through the first 3 episodes. I'm like, should I just turn this off? It's too repetitive. Yeah, let's get into it here. One second. To Yeah, so I think it this the first 3 episodes here, it just feels like the show is becoming really repetitive, and there's just too many characters and too many storylines, and that's another thing. The first 3 seasons here, like no one. I mean, I don't want to say that, but nobody's really died, right? Like we got all of the boys are still here. Most of the seven are still here. And I think that's just now starting season 4. I think there's just too many storylines. Like we don't need the Huey and his long lost mom bonding. We don't need another season of Annie's identity crisis about what she's gonna go by, and what suit she's gonna wear. We don't need Frenchie again dealing with the fact that he was a bad person in the past. Like we kind of know this. He's like an adult now. Like isn't that like hasn't he had some chance to kind of adjust to this? Um, we don't need more. Like we get it. It's a good bit. It's used a lot, but we don't really need more scenes with the Deep being depressed. He can't fuck a fish, and Ashley's meltdowns and BDSM. There's just too many random scenes and random side missions that people are starting to go on to where like it becomes frustrating to watch the show. And maybe it's because they release 3 episodes at a time. So maybe if they did one at a time or all 8 at a time, like you wouldn't feel this way. But I don't know. I feel like if this season just focuses on Homelander and Veronica trying to make Veronica become president, and the CIA and the boys trying to either kill Veronica and save Ryan, if every scene on the show made progress towards that, then like I think this would be a really tight, good show. But I just feel like there's too many random things happening. So, however, I know I just spent what 4 minutes kind of bashing the show, but I there is parts I really enjoy, and I am gonna keep watching it. So I think what I want to do moving forward in these reviews is just rate the top 3 characters each episode and see how that ranking changes. See who is 3, 2, 1, who gets kicked out of the list, kicked into the list each week. So let's kind of go into that. So the best character on the show by far this season is Billy Butcher. He has He has the action moments. He has the same Butcher energy. Um, but also he has some real emotional depth. Like I think that heart to heart with Ryan at the end of episode 3, where he's like, "Hey man, I'm not gonna drug you nothing, right? Like I've lost a lot of people. I'm about to die. I don't have time to like keep pushing my redemption arc and just stay being a jerk. I've got to like do some good, and you're what I can leave in this world, and you're part of my life, and I wanna I wanna be there for you. I wanna leave you in a good state, and so I think that's a really awesome emotional beat to have in the show, and I think Carl Urban does a great job, and I think this character is the best character on the show by far right now. Ryan is a little annoying. He's like flip flopping like so much. Season 1 we knew he existed. Season 2 he goes with Butcher. Season 3 he goes with Homelander. And then at the start of this season, it seems like he spent a lot of time with Homelander, to where understandably he's kind of over Homelander and doesn't really like being with him. But it's just jarring that we just last season saw Ryan leave and go be with Homelander. But as we pick up this season, we're already ready for Ryan to come back, right? Like, I feel like there's a lot of Ryan Homelander relationship that we missed out on seeing, and it just makes Ryan more of an annoying, like, flip flop character. Um, and finally, like I say that this show gets a bit repetitive here and there. The same, Homelander waving at a crowd and things like that. But I think Billy Butcher's grown a lot. Like he didn't fuck over Huey. Or watching the show, I was like, oh, yep, seen this before. We know what's gonna happen. He's apologized to Mother's Milk multiple times, trying to get back on the team. So now if he goes crazy, it is kind of on Mother's Milk. Like I think that's enough growth from Billy. And I gotta say, I'm not enjoying Mother's Milk this season. First of all, his facial hair situation, horrible. What the fuck? I thought he got recast or something. This skinny mustache thing is not working. He gotta get that beard back. He's also a horrible leader. People are either leaving or drunk or like they're just flopping missions. Like I understand the CIA being pissed off at him. Like um yeah, he's been selling. But Frenchie's cut this season, wow, amazing. Like he looks handsome every damn scene. Okay, let's move on. My second um favorite character this season, Sister Sage, or just Sage, out of respect. I love literally everything about this character. Um, Clearly in her introduction, right there when she's smiling, yes, Homelander, you dumb fuck, we're gonna make you like Caesar, and you get excited while I'm clearly gonna plot to destroy you and have my own motives. Now we don't know what they are, but I just love how that scene played out. How she, she wanted to be unbothered, I'm sure, but now she's in this situation. She's like, you know what? Since you're bothering me, I'm just gonna plot on your downfall here, and it was so well played how Homelander got excited and she got excited, but you could clearly see she really is the smartest person, not woman, on the planet, because she's playing this game on a different level, right? And I really like having someone competent that has their own motivation and is trying to get things done, and it's not either like a Homelander puppy or just doing what Homelander does. Like I felt Homelander's frustration, like Jesus, we need someone else in this room. Like Stan Edgar was that for like the first part of the season, um, first part of the show. And I just like how she moves, right? She moves really cool in the background, like conniving, plotting, that type of character. Like I loved how it was a simple incognito sunglasses outfit, and she started that whole riot, and then how she like just slowly backed away in the crowd. And it shows because a lot of the boys' characters are chauvinistic. That like they're loud, even from the boys to the seven. Like they want to kind of drive home their purpose and like be in your face, whereas she is prefers to be in the shadows, prefers to just watch her theories play out, and she's clearly uncomfortable in the spandex. And I love how different of a character she is for the show. I did also like. I know I just called Homelander a dumb fuck, but I thought it was pretty smart how. Yes, he could have gone to the fear angle, and she was gonna go forward, but she got her a bit more on board by saying, "Hey, instead of just sitting here theorizing, you can make this play out." And being the smartest person on the planet, yeah, that's great, but now like she has an ability to like do something with it, and I think that was the perfect kind of button to press from Homelander. So maybe not a dumb fuck. And then gotta mention, I love how absolutely disrespectful the showrunners were when they panned down as Sage and the Deep were having sex to show like the lobotomy tool, to say that somebody has to degrade their brain power in order to find the Deep attractive. That, I mean, now if that's not the best insult, I don't know what is, right? So yeah, I love Sage. I find it really hard to see her dropping from this list throughout the season, unless we find out that she got punished and somebody is lobotomizing her, and it's not just all on the like she's not doing it out of her own free will, right? That would be kind of disappointing. And then lastly, there's a surprise for me. I really, really, really love the work actor here, Reggie Franklin's doing this season with A Train. Um, like I actually buy him having regret and guilt, and I agree with Mother's Milk that we're probably gonna be able to turn him this season. Like one of the moments that stood out to me is like when Noir is in like backstage of the shoot, and he goes up to A Train and he's like, "Hey man, are we killing people? Because I mean, I can be cool if we are, but I just kind of want to know, you know." And A Train's like, you know, he's supposed to just say the Homeland descriptor, just shut the fuck up, do what you're told, and he eventually does do that. But there's a pause right before he does that, as if he just needs to take a second to push down his consciousness and deliver this like, um, deliver like the bad guy line, right? And so I thought that was really good acting from Reggie, and I buy it, and I think this character, out of a lot of, again, I said the show feels a bit repetitive, but I think this character has actually shown growth. Like in season one, he eventually got to feeling a little bit bad for what he did to Huey's girlfriend, and his own girlfriend at the time. Clearly, the storyline with his brother, and how Vought, first they put a Nazi on the team, and then they didn't do much about the guy who destroyed his brother's legs, and you can see like, okay, now he's acting out of vengeance, but in this season and recently he's been not just vengeance, but he's slowly turning that, no, this is wrong, like I'm on the wrong side here, so I'm gonna go against Vought eventually, not yet, because I'm becoming like a decent person, or at least I'm realizing what I've been done wrong. Um, like what was the like beating the shit out of those people and then helping Huey and Starlight free the people that were accused, right? It's actually interesting how like it's A Train and not the Deep or anyone else, because I think we know A Train's family. Like we know more about him. Like we don't know nothing about the Deep, right? We just know he's an ass, right? But it reminded me of like this joke that one comedian, I forget, maybe it's like Michael Rappaport or someone made about how African American athletes have this extra responsibility or are judged a bit harder when they get famous. They're supposed to like give back to the community or whatever, because that's, they come from the hood or whatever, right? And so they're supposed to uplift those areas. And so like we kind of expect A Train to like become a good guy for some reason, right? or at least the way the shows portrayed his background. We're like, oh, he's gonna understand that like this is not right, right? You can't treat people this way, or like people need to have better lives and stuff like that. But we don't expect it from white athletes because somehow societally we feel like, oh, that's not a responsibility of white athletes or non-minority athletes. Because maybe as if like it isn't all our responsibility to uplift all underprivileged communities, right? So I don't think that's a strong connection here, but it just made me think of that the premise of that joke. Also, Adrian's definitely gonna die, right? Like it's almost guaranteed, and it sucks. Like is the quota here? We could only have like one cool black character, like Sage has come on board, so now Adrian's gotta die. I hope that's not how it plays out, but Adrian's definitely gonna die this season. Um, hmm. So that's my top three. We'll see if by the end of the season the top three stays the same. But I do have some honorable mentions. People who could get up on the list, challenge for these spots, right? Victoria Newman. I am interested in the question Homelander asked, like, why do you want the presidency? It can't just be like power hungry. And so far from the outside in, you'd think that Homelander's depiction that she wants power so that Soups can be on top and Soups can be proud is why she's doing this, especially like how she's treating her daughter or the girl from Gen V. It's like she's been kind of team Soups, make sure Soups are okay. And so why wouldn't she kind of more strongly align with Homelander? But it's clearly not that, like, that's not her end goal for a Soups dominant society. So if not that, then what is her end goal, right? And last honorable mention, Firecracker. Low key, I find her smart and sexy, and I'm not going to expand on that. And on that note, this is the end of the video. Take care of yourselves, guys. Have a good day. Um, Let me know if you need help. I'm a licensed therapist. No, I'm not. I just, make sure you're all doing good. All right.